So, welcome back. And it's a beautiful day. Where I worked today, it poured and poured and poured. It rained so hard that I thought I was going to have to pull my vehicle over. Everybody on the interstate was going really, really slow. And the closer I got to home, we didn't have any rain. The roads were all dry, the sun was out. But it's very, very humid, and I can see that it did rain. It rained here some today. I'm not sure how much. And at least we got some rain, right? I wish we had gotten a little bit of that rain where I work today up here, but I'll take a little bit of rain. I can handle the rest, right, by watering. But we have a forecast of heavy thunder showers tonight. So the weather here is going to be really, really stinky, I guess. It's supposed to be, I don't know, like 63 degrees one day and 50 degrees the next, and all clouds and rain, and so it's going to be, I might have to start a fire on one of those days. The 50-degree day, it was supposed to be cloudy and windy and rainy. I'll probably start a fire. Here it is. Third week of June, folks. Father's Day weekend. What? Well, anyway. So, I just want to touch on 80% of you viewers are females. 20% are males. The majority of the people who watch my channel, folks, are between 55 and 65. There are some 45 to 55, and then there are 65 and older. But the majority are around my age. So, for those of you who are around my age and a little bit older, you know what I'm going to say is accurate and it's true. For those of you in the 45 to 55 range, some of you are learning this. And for those of 45, let's talk about what you're going to be looking forward to, folks. So, your body doesn't respond like it used to. It just doesn't. It gets tired really fast. And some days some of us just need to take a nap. Now, I try not to do that, but if I make the mistake of sitting down in my recliner, I fall asleep, folks. It happens 99.9% of the time. So, if I'm okay with dozing off, then I will allow myself to sit in the recliner. But if I don't want to allow myself to doze off, I'll sit right up straight at the kitchen table. So, not only the deer flies are really trying to take chunks out of me, folks. So, you not only get tired faster, you don't have the oomph. You have all these big ideas, and up here you're still young. Your body says, "No, I don't think so. Slow down, take it easy. You're gonna have a heart attack. You're gonna have a stroke. You're gonna pull something." So you're in a war. This up here tells you one thing, and your body tells you another, and usually your body wins, and it's hollering very loudly, right? So I'm getting at something here, folks. So the other day, I think it was 2 days ago. I don't know. The days just mingle into one here an awful lot. So the other day, I went up to see my cousin Shay, right? Now, my cousin Shay is older than dirt. She's 3 years older than I am. So, love you, Shay. So we was up there. She was sitting on her front steps, and I was sitting on the edge of one of her raised beds. And we were talking, and she goes, "I don't know what happened, She goes, all of a sudden, I was in my car, and I was in Belfast. I don't know how I got to Belfast. I don't know where I was going, but I decided that I would turn around, and I found myself on this road that I did not recognize. She goes, I was completely lost. I was really confused. So while she was telling me this, I'm like, all right, has she developed a brain tumor? Did she fall and hit her head? Is this a little bit of dementia coming out? And I was getting, in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is really serious, you know? We have to address this. And then she said, well, then I woke up. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. You just said all that like it actually happened, and it was a dream, but you told me it was a dream afterwards. And she goes, well, it felt so real. She goes, it was just like it was really happening. So I just wanted to share that and pick on my cousin Shay for a little bit. So for those of us who are getting a little older, we can feel our bodies slowing down. We're like I said, we're in a tug of war. Our brains are in a tug of war with our bodies, and we might be able to still lift those 5-gallon pails of water or whatnot, but we just don't want to do it all day anymore, right? So we're trying to find ways to make it a little easier on our body. So it being old really stinks. It does. The short-term memory starts to go first. You struggle to find just those simple words. And I gave up on names a long time ago, folks. I've always been horrible at names, and if you tell me your name is Bob, and I hear Rob, and then you correct me that it's Bob, sorry, I heard Rob, and it's going to be Rob for the rest of your life. So I'll just keep calling you Rob. That's just the way it is. People have accepted it. People just shake their head, and they just answer to Rob now, right? So sometimes your eyes play tricks on you, and you wonder if you really saw what you saw. So I see some weird things here, and I really wish that my eyes were video cameras so I could step out of the house and wink and push my temple in or bop my nose, and it would start recording, right? Because people just, they believe me because they know I wouldn't fib them, right? And if I truly say that I saw something, they believe it. So I see certain things here that I really wished I could get on camera with my eyes. Earlier, I had just gotten home, just backed my vehicle in, and was closing the, what do you call those roofs with the glass? You just push a button and it slides right straight back into the top of the vehicle, and that little wind deflector comes up in front. I don't know what those are called, but anyway, my vehicle has one. So I was closing that, and all of a sudden, I saw what we call them shit pokes here in Maine. Yes, shitpoke, shit poke. But the great blue heron is the technical name for it. Us Mainers, we're not very classy, folks. But shit poke is what I grew up calling it as a child. So a great blue herring, for those who are not as backwards as we are. And I saw that coming from the lower meadow up over the camp road. And all of a sudden, right behind it, a shit poke, they're just so big. And they only weighed like 3 to 4 pounds, folks. They're just all bone. But it was just doing the slow life is good. What do you call that? Oh my God. See, I'm telling you, short-term memory and a loss for words, folks. they were just doing this anyway, just taking their good old time flying, and right behind it was a mature bald eagle, folks. So that bald eagle was gaining pretty hard on that shitpoke, and I don't know, the shitpoke heard something or whatnot, but it just stopped flying and wanted to land immediately, just immediately. So it did, and the eagle kept flying. So the eagle was probably looking for mice or snakes or whatever, out fish out in the bog, right? So that's stuff like that I wished I'd had on camera. And another thing about shitpokes, you don't ever want to be under one when it decides to take a poop and it's flying, folks, because they'll be flying and they'll start pooping, and they'd be over here and their poop is just like a big paint splatter, folks, that goes about 20 yards. I'm not kidding. So that's kind of fun to watch, actually. So another thing about getting old is we just don't care what we look like. We don't care if our shirts match our pants. We don't care if our shirts match our socks or our shoes match our bandana. We just don't care. So today, mind you, I get up. My alarm was set at 1 o'clock. I let it hit the snooze till 1:05. Hit the snooze again till 1:10, and then just before the third snooze alarm rang, I just got up. So I got dressed because I live without power, right? So I just use a kerosene, or not a kerosene, a smokeless, scentless oil lamp, right? So I get dressed by that. So it's pretty dim light, folks. It's about like getting dressed by a candle in the dark. So I made my way to the closet and I just grabbed the first shirt I come to and put that on. It was hanging up, right? I put that on, grabbed a pair of folded up pants, put them on, not paying any attention to the color whatsoever. Had my coffee. Halfway out the door, I just grabbed my bandana and just kind of put that on, because I really don't like scragglies in my face, because when you get old, your hair gets brittle, and gray or silver or white hair breaks off, and they just stick everywhere, and they just get in your face when the wind blows, and I'm just not comfortable. So a bandana is how I do it, how I control them. So I got to work, and I was walking by. I'm the only one there, right? I was walking by, and I just happened to glance over in the mirror as I was going by it, and I said, "What the hell?" And I backed up, and I looked, and I had this bandana on. I had a multi-green shirt from anywheres from mint green to forest green to several other shades of green, all different kinds of patterns. There was brown in there, and it was a homemade shirt, and I love that shirt right to death. It's a really comfortable shirt, and it's the kind that this quadrant up here matches down. Let me back up. Matches down here, and this quadrant matches this one, right? So, the old style shirts. Out of style, folks, out of style, but I like it. And I had camouflage pants on, folks, right? So I had this with this design, the shirt with all those other patterns, and green and brown. I still have them on, and gray camouflage pants. Not a lick of it went together, folks. Not a lick of it went together, and that's all right. That's all right. I was comfortable. I was clean, and I just didn't care. I just didn't care. But I got some looks, folks. I got some looks. Now, my buddy Ashley, she said, "Oh, I like your shirt." She goes, "I really like those colors." I said, "Yeah, it matches my bandana and the pants I've got on today, doesn't it?" She goes, "I like your shirt." That's all she kept saying. So Thank you, actually. So, anyway, it's I don't look at my stats very often in my YouTube, but I went to YouTube Studio and I like to I'm gonna keep on doing the material I have been, but I just wanted to see the demographics, and they're between ages 47 and up. Now I just turned, I think I was 56. I was born 1966, and I just had a birthday June 10th. So I think I just turned 56. So the majority of you are, like I said, 55 to 65. So you're within my ballpark range, and for the old fuddy-duddies, maybe you can teach us a thing or two, right? We got a lot of learning to do too. So for the younger folk, uh, thank you for being here, and it's nice to have that span, and it's nice to see the younger folk getting into this way of life, and or at least interested in it. So welcome everybody, welcome everybody. So, and again, like I said, there's a few things here that I really wished I could record with my eyes, because I just want to play rewind, because I'm not really sure what I saw, even though I know what I saw. I don't know what I saw, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Um, but there are a lot of unknowns out there, folks. Now, I do know I have a lot of bear here. I have a lot of bobcat. There's some lynx. There's very few deer. There's very few moose. We get mostly moose in the spring. And, of course, we have the fox, the weasels, and everything in between. The mink, the muskrat. And in one of the videos down below, I talked about grabbing a stick of wood and grabbing right onto a mink's tail, right? The mink was not happy, folks. I was lucky I still had a hand left. So I've learned to pay attention a little bit when I go out after dark and reach for a stick of wood. Even though I live next to a bog, very few raccoon here, and I'm very thankful for that, because I have birds, right? So, but for flying predators, I have 2 or 3 different types of owls here. The biggest one is the great horned owl, and that's been coming around every night. It's here in my garden somewhere between me and Shay, because sometimes it's closer to her and sometimes it's closer to me. And they're a big, big bird, folks. And she's been attacked by a great horned owl before in her driveway, and I've been attacked several times down here in my driveway. So they're nothing to take lightly, folks. Okay, their talons are just, I don't know what you call those. Their claws, their feet are very powerful, and they're very strong. And I'll post for those of you who have not seen that video or fairly new to my channel, I'll find that video and I'll post it under this one about the time that the owl attacked me just this past winter. So it can get a little scary. I tend to get a little passive here or complacent, complacent with the wildlife here. Now what I should do is, because I've had bear up on my deck, I've had bear doing this on my front door more than once. And what I should do is look out my front door window before I open the door, but I don't. Sometimes the wardens and biologists will take a troubled bear from another area and relocate it here. Now, there was one troubled bear that they relocated, and we wish that they had told us in the area that they relocated a troubled bear, but they didn't. I think they should. Seems this is prime bear territory, right? So we don't need any troubled bear. We have friendly bear. We have curious bear. And so far, so good. So far, they just like to watch. They'll wander by me when I'm out in the garden. That has happened several times. I've been out in my garden working and look up, and there's a bear laying right on the ground, just looking at me and just watching me in my garden. And bear are very, very quiet folks in the woods. If they don't want to be heard, they will not be heard, right? And I'm talking black bear. We don't have brown bear grizzlies here in Maine. So, anyway, welcome back, you old fuddy-duddies, and upcoming fuddy-duddies, and life is still good, right? Life is still good. We move on, we make the best of what we can. We might get up, we might be in pain, we might have to take an hour or two to limber up. We might have to take more breaks during the day. We might have to lighten the load and make a short task a little bit longer, right? It's all good. It's all good. It's all part of continuing to live and continuing to be active, right? The breeze is coming up. The sun is making its way down, lowering the horizon. Uh, it's still humid, but it's getting a little cool out. It feels really nice right now, with a little bit of breeze. But we'll see how bad we get the thunder showers. Carol, I know that you get way more thunder showers than we do here. You get some really bad ones. I've watched them from my place. And thunderstorms tend to follow the rivers, right? So every once in a while we'll get a bad one here, but 99% of them, they hit the river, and they go over to you, Carol. And I've seen some awful thunder showers across the way over your way, so I know you get a whole lot more intense thunder showers than I get here, even though we're about 20 miles away. Anyway, folks, have a good night. I am going to change my shirt into my jammies, wash up a little bit, take my boots off, and put my feet up and relax. Thank you.